From performing on Ellen DeGeneres to performing with the Foo Fighters to rubbing shoulders with all kinds of celebrities, Nandi Fishel has achieved what most of us can only dream of at only 11 years old. Today, we speak to her parents about what it takes to raise your children with purpose and to raise them into their purpose.
So thank you guys for doing this. I spoke to you about my intention with this entire conversation. I think it's a worthwhile conversation to have. So basically, I asked you guys to come on this channel and just have a conversation about what it looks like to parent your children into their purpose. And like we spoke about before, I've noticed that there is a school of thought that parenting your children is really about getting them to a place of independence, where people are more focused on raising their kids from a really practical point of view. And they're not as concerned about things like purpose within their children. So first and foremost, I'm going to introduce you guys. You guys are obviously known as the parents of the baddest 11-year-old, according to Dave Grohl. So how does that feel? Just take me through that moment when you guys were looking at her on stage and people were chanting her name and everything that you guys worked through, like that moment. Can you just tell me, what did that feel like?
For me, I think I just felt proud and it's hard to describe. I think just really proud of her actually, and what she's achieved so far, and the person that Nandi is. Like, she's just kind, loving child, so I know you said people were chanting her name and all that, but like I think to me, we're her parents, so we don't see her in that light. It's just like she's really kind-hearted child, so that's and loving and caring, and she thinks about others. And I mean, we were proud seeing her on stage, weren't we?
Yeah, so the whole relationship with Dave Grohl and Foo Fighters, Nandi's loved the Foo Fighters since she was probably about 6 years old. And then a year and a bit ago, when she called out Dave Grohl for a drum battle, that was her just showing to Dave and to the Foo Fighters how much she loved their music. I don't think any of us anticipated an actual response or some sort of reaction from Dave Grohl. So just the fact that he responded to, the drum battle request was mind-blowing in itself. Everything about what's happened is completely authentic. It really is about Nandi's love for rock music, Nandi's love for the Foo Fighters, Nandi's love for drumming. And I think that you can see that in their videos, where the performance comes from a love for just being in the moment and the music. So what was it like watching Nandi on stage? Possibly one of the most emotional moments of my life. I can count on one hand like the best moments in my life, and obviously getting married to Lungi was my one of my best moments. Nandi being born, Thomas being born, and then seeing Nandi on stage. There's only a few like really like heart-stopping moments, and it's always family first, and then that moment itself. She got on stage. I didn't get on stage. Lungi didn't get on stage.
Yeah.
We could have done that.
She killed it.
We could have
done
that.
Moments before she got on stage, I knelt on the floor and I said to Nandi, I said, you don't have to do this. If you're going to go out there, you do it for yourself. Don't do it for Dave. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for anybody else. Go out there and be yourself and enjoy yourself. And just this was maybe 1 minute before she got out on stage, and I was like, you don't have to do this. And she was like, Daddy, I want to do this. This is something I want to do.
So from the beginning, right? So obviously witnessing it from the beginning, it just seemed like a hobby. She had a fascination with the drums. It was evident. At what point did you recognize that, hey, this is a little more than just she likes the drums?
I still think it is a hobby. 11 years old.
Yeah.
Who knows what she's going to accomplish in her life? She might, make a name for herself as, a great musician, but end up being Prime Minister of England.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know. It's just, I think it's like going with the flow kind of thing. Yeah. I think that's how I see it. So I think everything that's happened is organic. It's not, it was never a plan. Planned. I don't plan anything like that.
Yeah.
Going on stage and performance, that's life, right? No matter if you're going for a job interview or if you're having to stand up in front of people and present, you know, whatever you do in your life, there is an element of performance. And what we wanted to make sure is Nandi had the courage and confidence of her convictions to be able to, in any situation, excel. And whether that's on the drums or guitar or in the mathematics exam or, you know, in the Houses of Parliament, when you get up, you have to be ready. You have to know what you do. You have to be prepared, and you have to kill it in any situation.
What would you say your parenting philosophy is?
So what I would say is you always have to make sure that you don't limit yourself. You don't think that you can't do things. You have to make sure that everything that holds you back is actually something that takes you forward. If you look at life in a negative way, in a way that, you know, I can't do this because of X, Y, Z, then you've got a fixed mindset. So you have to take a growth mindset and implant it from day one. And that means that whenever you go to something that is difficult, any challenge that faces you, you will be able to overcome it. So never, ever let yourself think that you can't do something. You could do anything that you put your mind to. I remember when Thomas and Nandi were babies, whenever they struggled with something, they would stand them on a chair and we would say, you are going to shout at the top of your voice, I can do anything I put my mind to. And we would make them stand there and say, I can do anything I put my mind to. And that's growth mindset. It's, I'm going to grow from this experience, even though it might challenge me now, even though I might be, even though this is really difficult. Do you know what? Doing 16ths is really difficult. But if you focus on it and you train and you get better, you do it, and you do it naturally, effortlessly.
Yeah, it's similar to John, which is like just being the best that you can be. So, but you put it in good words. So being an individual, or like not try to look different to somebody else. That's my
Where did you guys get that mentality from? Like, would you say you guys learned that, what you just described, did you guys learn that from the parenting you received?
I think I learned it from growing up, mistakes, even having, like, looking at my kids now, they teach me lessons like that. Actually, I can achieve what I want to achieve. Like, I think when I look at them, I think they're an example of, you know, almost like reaching for the stars, you know. I think I am a person who's always limited myself. Like, I can't do this, I can't do that. So they're a good example for me. It's just looking at them and they're fearless as well when it comes to trying new things.
I wanted to make sure that I spent as much time with my children as possible. The thing is, right, I really like spending time with my kids. Don't get me wrong, babies are hard work, and the late nights and the sleepless nights and sleep deprivation, that's probably not, you know, it's a very difficult phase. But once that phase is over and you've got these essentially empty vessels that could be filled with anything, in my mind, I was like, well, all I want to do is fill my children with love and with, you know, words of respect and peace and happiness. I want to make sure that however they grow up to be, I've given them as much of my attention and love, and make them kind, respectful, loving human beings, but also share the love of music that I have with them and art. And
I think what I like the most, that I admire the most about what you guys are doing is you're very level-headed about how you're doing all of this. Like, it can be a very heady experience, but you're very disciplined in how you're going about this. How do you balance the working with maintaining a childhood for them?
Everything has to be fun. If it's not fun, we don't want to do it. And sometimes, you know, we've tried things and they haven't been fun, and we won't do them again. You know, there's a lot of things that are really fun. Like, Nandi loves going on stage, and she, you know, she's done some movies now. She likes being on set. She does like that aspect of it. But what it's exposing her to is jobs that maybe she wouldn't consider now, but she might want in the future. So she recently in the Cinderella film, and that was directed by Kay Cannon, and Kay Cannon took her under her wing and was talking, you know, about how to direct movies, and Nandi would sit there and watch. And after that, she was like, Daddy, I'd actually like to be a director. And what's good, you know, it's like, well, why not? You know.
Yeah. And I think, sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
I think because a lot of the stuff that she's done has been a lot of female directors, which has been very good.
Yeah, exactly.
With innocent eyes to see female directors, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Nearly all of the documentaries and photo shoots and everything, it's predominantly been female directors, and I think that's really kind of a light bulb moment for her. Oh, I could do this as well.
Like, have you learned anything new about yourself in this experience?
I've learned a lot about Lungi. I think she's probably the most incredible person in the entire world. She's so resilient, and you know, she's always, you know, whenever we're busy doing something, she's always there, whether it's in the background, just making sure that we can make these things happen. And you know, just like myself, she has absolute unconditional love for the family. And
stop it. What about you yourself, not me?
We're trying to do as a family, which is create memories. And you know, when we're 70 and you know, we're looking back at our lives, we're going to have some amazing memories that we can share with each other. And I think that's true. That's, you know, one of the most amazing things. We're going to have a great family photograph album that we can look back on. And I'm so glad that I get to share all of these amazing moments with Lungi. And
I think what I've learned, like I say, I rely a lot on my faith. And what I have learned is that I think God does the impossible. Personally, that's what I believe. He does the impossible. And like a lot of the experiences that I've been through, I never in a million years, from like, you know, living the normal life I've led, I never thought that we would ever experience a lot of the things or see the places that we've seen, and met the people that we've met, and have, you know, just spending like, we've had 5 weeks of the summer as a family together. And like, I've wanted to do that for so long. And the fact that it happened, like John created so many memories. Like we took so many pictures and met so many amazing people. And I got to experience personally some things that I wanted to experience for a long time. And it happened on this trip. And I think that is really, really amazing. So for me, I think it's, you know, there's nothing too big for God. Any, you know, there's never any, and when you think small, like never think small. That's also my philosophy. And that's what I've learned. When you don't ever think small, always think bigger, because our minds are so limited. And if you put yourself in a box, or you'll never achieve or dream the things that, or do the things that you want to do if you put yourself in a box. So that's been my thing.
Here we go again, here we go again, here we go!